So, friends, we have with us Shri Vibhor Swaroop. Mr. Swaroop is basically the Deputy General Manager at Sidbi, Small Industries Development Bank of India at Chandigarh. They have a regional office here at Chandigarh. So, he's working as the Deputy GM over here, next to the General Manager. Am I right, sir? No?
Yes.
Yeah. And he will be taking a session on the schemes of assistance by the Sidbi for the entrepreneurs. What Sidbi is doing for the entrepreneurs, basically. Okay, so that is the topic of the session. I welcome Shri Vibhor for this training session. And sir, we have almost 23 people sitting over here. Some people are just coming after the lunch, but we can start. So they are from engineering colleges and the polytechnics of the country. They are all basically teachers, technical teachers. And we have a center at Bhartpur also. You can see the center after some time from here also. So 40 people are sitting over there also. So I once again welcome Mr. Swaroop, and I'll request him to please start the session, please.
Good afternoon, all of you. How many of you know about Sidbi? Okay. I mean, some of you are not aware also. Sidbi is basically Small Industries Development Bank of India. It is a financial institution under the control of Ministry of Finance, and it is looking after the interests of MSMEs. So while going through the presentations, I'll try to elaborate on every aspect which Sidbi takes care of. Do you want me to speak in English or in Hindi or bilingual? English. Okay. Because in one of the sessions, somebody said his presentation was very good, but we didn't understand. So that is why I asked you this question. So this is basically the scope of MSME in the current slide. MSMEs are basically classified into manufacturing and service sector enterprises. As per the MSME Act, the investment limit for manufacturing sector enterprises, it is based on the investment in plant and machinery. In case you don't understand anything, please ask me. For micro enterprises, the limit is under manufacturing enterprises, the limit is 25 lakhs. Investment in plant and machinery. Under the service enterprises, it is only investment in equipment. The limit is up to 10 lakhs. For small enterprises, as per the current norms, it is investment in plant and machinery up to 5 crores under manufacturing and up to 2 crores under service sector. For medium, it is up to 10 crores for manufacturing enterprises, and for service sector, it is up to 5 crores. Sidbi also does, apart from supporting these two, Sidbi also supports the microfinance sector. Microfinance sector, do you understand? You must have heard of Mudra. I'll come to it later on. The next is the contribution of the MSME sector to the Indian economy. It basically contributes to economic growth, entrepreneurship development, financial inclusion, and employment creation. Number of MSMEs is more than 30 million. It is the second largest source of employment. More than 70 million people are employed in MSMEs. MSME contribute 45% of manufacturing output, 40% of exports, and 8% to the country's GDP. This sector has been consistently showing a higher growth, and more than almost 11%, even during the period when the economy was going down. It is higher than the industrial and overall economic growth. That is why there is so much emphasis on MSMEs. The next slide, as you can see, there are more than 600,000 products which are covered under MSMEs. As you can see from the table, the largest sector is the food products, followed by chemical and chemical products, then the basic metal industry, then metal products, electrical parts, electrical and machinery parts, and then rubber, plastics, and the plastic products. Other sectors, 6%. I'm just giving an overview of MSME sector, then I'll come to the contribution what Sidbi is doing, just to have a basic idea of what the MSME sector is. Sidbi, that is the Small Industries Development Bank of India, it was established in 1990 under an act of parliament. It comes under the administrative control of Ministry of Finance and also Ministry of MSME. It is the nodal agency for execution of different MSME schemes of the government. I'll come to that slide later on. Its mandate is promotion, financing, and development of MSMEs, and coordinating the activities of institutions engaged in similar activities. Basically, three roles: financing, promotion and development, and coordinating the activities of similar institutions. Next slide. It's a DFI role. Sidbi is expected to meet both credit and developmental needs of the MSME sector while maintaining its financial viability. As you can see, almost all banks are doing funding. We are supposed to do, apart from funding, our role is credit plus. Apart from credit, whatever other facilitator related activities we are supposed to take care of. The scope of activities, they cover the meeting financial gaps in niche areas. Niche areas are basically those areas which have been identified by Sidbi where banks are hesitant to lend. I'll come to those niche areas in a subsequent slide. Then providing need-based non-financial services. I spoke about the promotional and developmental role. That also I'll explain gradually. Slides will come. Then adopting cluster-centric approach. Clusters, basically MSMEs are based in clusters. Like Muradabad, we have the metal cluster. Firozabad, we have the glass cluster. So basically, we are supposed to adopt a cluster approach so that the benefit of whatever interventions we are taking goes to large number of MSMEs. Then upskilling, promotional development, and socially responsible activities. CSR, as you all know, is a mandate of government, and almost all institutions, they are doing that. The business model of Sidbi, addressing financial gaps and non-financial gaps. Gaps, just now I spoke about what commercial banks are doing. We are supposed to basically fill the gaps. We are supposed to provide those services which commercial banks are hesitant to provide or they are not providing, with the purpose of facilitating higher credit flow to MSMEs and to make the sector strong, vibrant, and internationally competitive. This is the delivery model. This slide basically covers the entire scope what Sidbi is doing. The first is to improve the credit flow to MSME sector. We provide refinance. Do you know what refinance is?
Financing the organizations to further finance to other.
Yes, like commercial banks, they are funding directly to the MSMEs. So we are supposed to provide them refinance so that they don't have any problem in getting funds for further lending. That is refinance. Other is structured products. Structured products means like an MSME comes to us, they need a loan for, do you know working capital and term loan? For every MSME, for every industry, there are two components of funding. One is term loan, other one is working capital. Term loan is basically for purchase of machinery, land, building, plant, and working capital is basically for day-to-day running. Whatever the raw material purchase, whatever funds are required for day-to-day running. So banks are providing both term loan and working capital. So the structured products are basically a mix of the two, depending on the requirement of the MSMEs. Then we provide direct credit, risk capital, and sustainable finance. Risk capital is basically a part of the equity fund. It is also called equity funding. Whenever you go to a bank, you ask for a loan, they will ask about the project cost. For example, if the project cost is 100 rupees, they will say, okay, 25 rupees you have to pull in, 75 rupees I'll give. So it happens that many times promoters, they don't have that 25% of the project cost. So out of that 25, Sidbi says, okay, we'll give you 15, 10 you put. So that is known as risk capital. That is a part of the core capital. Sustainable finance is basically funding for energy efficiency. Right now, the focus of government, international agencies is on funding energy efficient technologies. So sustainable finance basically pertains to that. Then microfinance. Microfinance is basically providing very small loans, like for which Mudra has recently been created. There's a slide on Mudra. I'll tell you about that. Apart from funding, the credit plus approach which I spoke, the activities covered under that are entrepreneurship development. Sidbi supports EDPs and generally product specific EDPs, just as right now the focus is on skill development. So specific skill EDPs we fund. We also provide BDS services. We also provide, we encourage missing middle sector. Missing middle sector is basically those enterprises where the loan requirement is between 50,000 to 10 lakhs. They are known as missing middle sector. Banks are generally hesitant to provide loan in this range. So we also promote funding for missing middle sector. Sidbi has promoted several institutions. The associate organizations are SVCL. The full form is Sidbi Venture Capital Limited. Venture capital, you might have heard. Venture capital is basically for funding innovative technologies for such projects which banks are hesitant to lend. Then Samera, SME rating agency, we have promoted. Samera is the only agency which is focused on SMEs. It does rating for SMEs only. For example, CRISIL does for every, apart from industry, they do for lot other sectors. Samera is focused to SMEs. CGT-MSE, Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. You might have heard for a credit guarantee scheme. Many times this issue is raised in different meetings. This agency has been promoted jointly by Government of India and Sidbi. Under this credit guarantee scheme, collateral-free loans can be given up to rupees 1 crore, 100 lakhs. So, as per RBI mandate, RBI has made it mandatory for all commercial banks to lend up to 10 lakhs without any collateral. But under this scheme, banks can lend up to 100 lakhs without collateral. There are several issues related to it. People are complaining that we are not getting loans collateral-free. But that is a different issue, but this scheme is very much there. ISTSL is India SME Technology Services Limited. This is basically a technology arm which Sidbi has set up to provide matchmaking, hand-holding support to MSMEs who want to go for technology upgradation. They also do energy rating. ISARC is India SME Asset Reconstruction Company, which has been set up by Sidbi for purchasing NPAs of banks and then settling them. So this is the whole purview of activities which Sidbi is undertaking. Any doubts? I know this is a post-lunch session, so you might be feeling sleepy. But in case any doubts are there, just please ask me. These are the entire range of products which I just now covered: refinance, direct finance, risk capital, technology upgradation, promotional and developmental activities, service sector funding, receivable finance, and working capital finance. Receivable and working capital, we have a separate slide for that. I'll come to that. Financial gaps. I spoke of niche area funding. Niche area, basically those areas where banks are reluctant to fund due to different reasons. The first is equity funding, which I just now spoke about it. Another is mezzanine finance. Mezzanine is basically a mix of funding for equity and term loan and working capital. Risk capital is just now I spoke about risk capital. Then financing of sustainable development, energy efficiency, environment friendly projects. Government is very much focusing on energy efficient technologies. They are giving a lot of support for that. Even subsidy is being given by government, different ministries of government. Receivable finance scheme is basically it's a facilitator for MSMEs. What happens is most of the MSMEs, they are suppliers to some big mother units. For example, Maruti India, they have around more than 100 MSMEs who are supplying them parts. When they supply the parts, the mother unit basically takes the bill, receives it in a invoice, and then they generally make payment after 90 days, 45 days, 50 days. Under this scheme, Sidbi has done, Sidbi has basically tied up with the mother units as well as the MSMEs, and then we give a limit to the mother units. So the suppliers, they go to the mother unit, deliver the goods, come to us, and immediately we fund, out of the 100 rupees they have given, worth of goods they have given to the mother unit, we reimburse them almost 99.8%, 7%. This is basically bill discounting. Then financing service sector products, I just now spoke about it. Apart from that, we do indirect finance. Indirect finance is basically refinance, especially to regional rural banks, NBFCs, factoring companies, other channel partners like Netfee, urban cooperative banks, etc. Non-financial gaps. This is the credit plus approach. Sidbi has floated a site about 9-10 months back, which is known as smallb.com. It is now smallb.in. It is basically, there are a lot of people, entrepreneurs or prospective entrepreneurs who want to set up units. They want some guidance, they want project ideas, how to prepare a project report, what all requirements are there. They want so much information, and they don't get a single point from where they can get the information. Smallb.com basically caters to that. This is a site which has been developed by MSME, by Sidbi. It is linked to all important MSME service providers. It gives you idea about how to prepare a detailed report. Every kind of thing related to MSME that is available on smallb.com. Apart from that, the showcase of technologies by research institutes that is being done by ISTSL, India SME Technology Services Limited. We provide guidance for project appraisal and disbursements, preparing detailed project report for selected ideas. These are some of the services which we provide. Sidbi has also set up credit facilitation centers. Credit facilitation centers are again, just now I spoke of the requirement of people for hand-holding support. They need guidance for setting up units. So we have set up credit facilitation centers all over India, which is basically manned by knowledge partners. We call it knowledge partners. Knowledge partners are basically retired bankers who have served the MSME sector for 25-30 years. If you go to them, they will guide you how to fill up an application form, how to register yourself as an MSME, whatever kind of support, what kind of subsidy you get, they provide you all kind of knowledge. So these are basically credit facilitation centers which have been set up in different Sidbi offices as well as industry associations. We have tied up with different industry associations where these people go and they sit there once a week, twice a week. They sit there for 1 to 2 hours and they provide guidance, whatever guidance people require. Then we also support marketing infrastructure, exhibition centers. If some MSME is going out of country or maybe within the country, we provide them whatever support they require by way of grant, by way of loan, whatever the requirement is. We also do capacity building programs for regional rural banks and urban cooperative banks. What happens is the general complaint which the government received was that commercial bankers are so busy in their day-to-day work, they don't get time to attend to the MSMEs. And they don't have the mindset to cater to the MSME sector. So we provide training for that. We basically tell them about bankers sometimes they are so busy in their day-to-day work that they don't have time to read the circulars, different schemes of government. So basically we try to build their capacity. We make them aware of the different schemes for MSME, support extended by government, subsidy, everything. Then cluster development program, I spoke about it. We identify clusters. We identify the technologies which are being used in those clusters and how to improve those technologies. This is a direct credit scheme which Sidbi also provides direct finance. Although direct finance is not our focus area, but just to keep, to have a feel of the market, we do direct funding also. But that is not our very focus area. So under this scheme, we provide loans for setting up new units, expansion, diversification, modernization, working capital, marketing, etc. Assistance is by way of a term loan. Repayment period is 5 to 7 years. Interest rate is based on the risk rating. Every bank these days, they are doing rating of the customers. And on the basis of rating, the interest rate is decided. Security is collateral free. It's flexible, collateral free up to 100 lakhs. And we also try to dovetail. We try to, in a project, we try to provide maximum support to the MSMEs by way of giving them subsidies, whatever kind of support government has for them. Sidbi has also floated a Make in India fund. This is basically pursuant to the announcement of Make in India by the Prime Minister. Under this fund, this is a corpus of 1,000 crores. Under it, we provide both term loan and working capital. Tenure is again 5 to 7 years. Interest rate is 50 basis points lower than the applicable. Whatever interest rate comes after rating of the customer, we provide them 50 basis points less interest. The security is again flexible. Upfront fee is basically the processing fee, that is 1% plus applicable taxes. This is also flexible, we can reduce it. These are the sectors which are covered under Make in India Fund. The 25 sectors which government has identified. It includes automobiles, biotechnology, chemicals, aviation, construction, leather, mining, oil and gas, etc., as you can see in the slide. Sidbi has also floated a scheme by the name of Smile. The fund for Smile has been given by RBI to Sidbi. It covers both term loan and soft loan. Soft loan in the nature of quasi equity. The tenure is not more than 7 years. Soft loan rate of interest is 9.9%, which no bank offers in the country as on date. But this is a special fund, it is only for 3 years. And for term loan, the maximum rate is 10.5%. Generally, banks are lending to industry at around 11% minimum. This is a scheme which has been made for applicable for MSMEs all over the country, and the fund is 10,000 crores. Security is again flexible. Promoter contribution is lower as compared to normal projects. It is 15% of the project cost up to 1 crore, and above 1 crore projects it is 20%. Normally you go to a bank, they ask for a minimum contribution of 25%. This is one benefit which has been given under the scheme. The rate of interest, as I told you, it is less than what is prevailing in the market. Upfront fee, everywhere it is charged 1%. In this scheme, it is 0.5%. Another scheme which Sidbi is running is the secured business loan scheme. Basically, loan against property, LAP, which commercial banks are running. It is the same scheme. So I don't want to go through it. It is nothing very, special which we are having. This is just like banks. Main schemes which are very relevant for MSMEs as on date is Make in India Fund and Smile scheme. Receivable finance scheme. Just now I told you about receivable finance. Basically, bill discounting, and I will just flip through it. You know the concept. The benefits. Why customers should come to Sidbi? Just a slide on that. We design unique products depending on the needs of the customer. We are not so harsh in our rules and regulations. Depending on the customer requirement, we provide them assistance. It is a mix of, it may be a term loan, it may be a mix of term loan, working capital, as well as equity. Our focus is on industry and service sector funding. Commercial banks, they are so busy with CASA, current account, saving account, that they don't get time for MSMEs. So we are exclusively meant for MSMEs. Apart from MSMEs, we don't have any other work. Our focus is on that. We offer attractive rates. Sidbi is basically getting funds through foreign agencies. So rate of interest which we are offering to the MSMEs is very competitive, and we try to dovetail those rates with subsidy schemes of the government, which commercial banks find difficult to provide. For every account, we have a relationship manager. So the relationship manager is supposed to interact with the industry, keep a pulse of the industry, have direct interaction with the entrepreneurs, and provide them the best services which Sidbi can provide. We are present in all major industrial clusters. Sidbi has around more than 85 offices all over the country. Easier access to collateral-free finance. Since Sidbi has floated credit guarantee trust for MSMEs, we endeavor to provide collateral-free loans to the customers, to all the MSMEs who come to us and who need collateral-free loans. Sidbi also provide risk capital for furtherance of MSMEs, which generally commercial banks are hesitant. I don't want to say that we compete with the commercial banks. We don't compete, but we definitely act as a facilitator. Receivable finance scheme was introduced by Sidbi way back in '94. and after that banks copied it. All banks are now doing receivable finance. Credit guarantee trust for micro and small enterprises. Just now I told you, it provides collateral free lending up to rupees 100 lakhs. This is a boon for new entrepreneurs, new people who want to set up an industry. They don't have security to offer. So under this scheme, they can take loans without providing any security. As I told you, it was established by Government of India and Sidbi. All scheduled commercial banks, regional rural banks, they are eligible institutions. The eligible borrowers are MSMEs. Maximum guarantee cover up to rupees 1 crores. Maximum guaranteed amount under this is 75% of the loan amount up to rupees 50 lakhs and 50% of the loan amount up to rupees between 50 and 100 lakhs. The cost, this is basically you can say a sort of insurance. The cost of guarantee cover is one-time guarantee fee of 1% of the credit facility sanctioned, and annual service fee is charged under it. It is 1% of the credit facility guaranteed. Any doubts?
What is the status of NPAs that we are not taking any provision?
NPAs are there. I cannot say they are not there, but NPAs, the overall experience is that NPAs are more in big accounts rather than in small accounts.
Comparison to banks, are we have more NPAs?
Sidbi, the NPA ratio is 0.35%. 0.55, sorry.
Very less than SBI.
Very less than SBI. But our direct lending portfolio is also small compared to commercial banks. As I told you, we are into direct finance, but our overall portfolio is around 10,000 crores, which is very less as if you compare with SBI or with other commercial banks. But our direct lending is basically just, as I told you, to have a pulse of the market rather than earn money. Yes. Mudra. Mudra, most of you might be aware. This was not in the presentation, but I brought it just for your knowledge. As you all know, Mudra was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister on April 8th. Right now it is a subsidiary of Sidbi. When it was being planned, it was originally planned that Mudra will initially be a subsidiary of Sidbi and gradually it will be a independent organization. But as on date, it's a subsidiary of Sidbi. It has a board of directors with Dr. Chhatrapati Shivaji, who is currently the CMD of Sidbi. He is the chairman of Mudra. Shri G.G. Memon is the CEO and MD. Currently, it is operating from Mumbai, from MSME Development Center, Mumbai. It has obtained necessary permissions from RBI and commenced its operations. Mudra, the mandate is to cover all loans below 10 lakhs, sanctioned to micro enterprises for non-farm income generating activities. Non-farm income generating activities is important. 97 officers located in different Sidbi regional offices, branch offices they have been identified as nodal officers of Mudra also, and they are acting as the first point of contact. Rupees 20,000 crore worth of corpus for refinance has been allocated by RBI for Mudra. Partner institutions, 27 this is basically these figures are around 3-4 months back, not the latest. There have been additions. 27 public sector banks, 17 private sector banks, 29 RRBs and 25 MFIs and 24 NBFCs are potential partners. Do you understand MFIs? MFIs are microfinance institutions. They may be societies, they may be Section 25 companies, and they provide funding on the ground. They provide funding through self-help groups or joint liability groups. Self-help groups, do you understand? Self-help groups are basically group of people at village level who come together and they do lending among themselves. उसे बोलते नहीं आपको kitty party. Not a kitty party, but sort of. If you want to, they pool funds, and they are provided fund by banks also now. So basically, microfinance institutions provide funding through joint liability groups or self-help groups. Joint liability groups are basically very small groups of 5 people, 6 people. Self-help groups are minimum 10 and maximum around 20 to 25 people. The kind of the system is that in a self-help group, if a bank has provided lending to say 10 self-help groups or even a single self-help group, if one person defaults, the peer pressure acts as a pressure on the other members, on that defaulting member to repay the loan. Because in case a person in a group defaults, the group earns a bad name and they do not get further funding. So just to ensure that the group continues to grow and they get constant funding, the other members of the group, they pressurize the defaulting member to pay. And even if he is not able to pay, they pay on his behalf. So that is the power of SHGs and JLGs. Under Mudra, general refinance agreement has been executed with 24 public sector banks and 6 regional rural banks. The general refinance agreement has already been executed with SBI, Union Bank, United Bank, and Central Bank of India. As you might have heard, there are 3 products under Mudra: Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun. Under Shishu, loans up to 50 lakhs, 50,000 is covered. Under Kishore, loans above 50,000 and up to 5 lakhs. Under Tarun, loans above 5 lakhs and up to 10 lakhs is covered. Basically, these are different stages of the growth of a micro entrepreneur. First, he will take Shishu loan. After sometimes he will take Kishore, then Tarun. The interest rates have been fixed based on the instructions of RBI. Present rate of interest for all banks. This is basically a refinance rate, 6.72% per annum. The commercial banks have been asked to lend at their base rates. RRBs and cooperative banks will charge 3.5% more than the refinance rate. The spread is 3.5% for RRBs and cooperative banks to meet their administrative cost, to meet their other cost. The MFIs and NBFCs will charge differential interest rate varying from 10 to 12.25%. That is the margin which has been given to MFIs and NBFCs. MFI will follow the interest rate of RBI Master Circular and NBFC will have a spread of 6%. These are basically refinance and the spread which they are going to get. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, DFS has given target of 70,000 crores to public sector banks, 30,000 crores to private sector banks, and 22,000 crores to RRB for disbursement under this scheme during the current financial year. The microfinance institutions have been given a target of 25,000 crores. Total, it works out to 1.47 lakh crores. As on July, almost 19,000 crores has been disbursed. These are the July figures. Right now, it must be more. These are the different associates and subsidiaries of Sidbi. Just now I told you about that. Sidbi Venture Capital Limited, Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Industries, Samera, ISTSL, and ISARC. Thank you. Now I'll ask you to clear your doubts if any. Now on the practical aspects.
The venture capital is very difficult. No bank is willing to provide the venture capital to new entrepreneurs. How should we provide loan to new entrepreneurs?
For new, actually there's a difference. There's difference between new entrepreneur and a venture capitalist. New entrepreneur is basically, you may go to a Sidbi or to a bank saying that I'm going to set up a unit on, say, manufacturing some copper goods or any traditional item. That is new enterprise. The venture capital is basically coming up with some innovative ideas, some technology driven things which are not available in the market. For venture capital, Sidbi has a different arm which I just now said, SVCL, Sidbi Venture Capital Limited. They have an office in Mumbai and they can interact directly with you through mail, through net. For traditional funding, you can go to any bank for a new unit. Any bank, even Sidbi, But for venture capital funding, you need a venture capitalist to support you. Venture capitalist can be Sidbi, can be there's a concept of angel investors also now. So there are so many, I mean, forces in the market who may be ready to fund you. A Sidbi venture capital is just one of them. So just have a differentiation between venture capital and new funding. These kind of schemes which have been they are being promoted under Mudra, they are basically for new units. But venture capital is something different, slightly different. Another scheme which Prime Minister has recently launched is the startup scheme, the startup fund. That is not venture capital. That is for startups, new people who have come, but it may cover venture capitalist also. Make in India program. Another scheme which is coming up will be, which was announced briefly announced by the Prime Minister, but it will be launched after maybe this month or next month. That is the Stand Up India. That was startup has already been launched. Stand Up is the next scheme, and Sidbi is the nodal agency for that. I mean, so far it has been identified. So Stand Up is basically for existing people, but belonging, it will be focused to SC, STs and women. So under it, funding will be provided by all banks, and Sidbi is the nodal agency. We have already started work on that. It is likely to be launched shortly.
What is this collateral free loan?
Whenever you go to a bank for whatever, what I mean, for say for a small project, so they'll ask you for a security. Say you go for a loan of, I'll just explain in very simple terms. You go for a loan of 75 rupees. Whenever you go for a loan, you make a project. For what purpose you don't need the loan and how much money is involved. For example, 100 rupees is involved for a project. You go to a bank saying that the project is for 100 rupees. I need loan for 80 rupees or 90 rupees. Bank will generally emphasize that you provide 25 rupees should be brought in by you, and 75 will give you a loan. For that 75 rupees, they'll ask you for a security. They will say that I am pulling in 75 rupees, so I need some security that in case the loan goes bad, I must be able to recover my money from that security. So generally, this is the traditional mindset of bankers. So because of this mindset, lot of industrial funding was being hampered. So government introduced a concept of collateral lending, collateral free lending. Collateral free lending means up to a certain limit, you need not give collateral, you take it without any security. RBI has made it mandatory for all commercial banks for loans up to 10 lakhs. They cannot charge collateral. And in case they charge and a complaint is received by RBI can take action against them. But under this credit guarantee scheme, loans up to 100 lakhs, 1 crores can be given collateral free. The difference between after 10 lakh, between 11 lakhs and 100 lakhs, that is the discretion of the bankers. Bankers as well as the entrepreneurs. In our case, many times people come to us saying that we want a loan of say 80 lakhs. We offer them, you take without collateral. They say, no, I don't want collateral free lending. They say for collateral free lending, they have to give 1% extra annual service charge. They said, why should I pay you an extra 1%? You take the security and give me loan. So that option is both with the banker as well as with the entrepreneur. Because why a lot of people, they have security, they said, okay, you take this land and you give me collateral. You take this collateral and give me loan. Why should I pay you 1% extra? So that is basically a discussion and a point of, interaction during which it is decided.
DIC, Rajcom and RMC जो है things provide कराते हैं then project report पे आ जाते हैं
नहीं, सिडबी इसमें इन्वॉल्व नहीं है.
so directly you should come with the project report and
हाँ. अगर किसी को कोई हेल्प चाहिए कि प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट बनाने में दिक्कत है तो सिडबी आ सकता है. वो सिडबी जस्ट लाइक किसी भी बैंक की तरह उनको
presently जो skill development program सिटी के चल रहे हैं
हाँ जी
skilling की youth
हाँ जी,
particularly providing the funds that they
सिडबी जो मिनिमम लोन अमाउंट देता है वो 50 लाख देता है। उससे कम के प्रोजेक्ट्स हम लोग करते नहीं, नए प्रोजेक्ट्स। एग्जिस्टिंग कोई हमारा कस्टमर है उसको 25 लाख मिनिमम है उसके लिए।
उनका इसी प्रोग्राम से चल रहा है गाँव में।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
इससे क्या एम है?
सिडबी का एम, जो सरकार का एम है, स्किल डेवलपमेंट। बेसिकली स्किल के लिए आप तैयार करो बंदे को, और कल को वो अपना काम शुरू करना चाहे कर ले, चाहे तो अपने एंटरप्राइज लगाना। नहीं, फाइनेंस सिडबी नहीं करेगा, कमर्शियल बैंक करेगा। हम लोग क्या करते हैं इस तरह के प्रोग्राम्स में, वी इनवाइट बैंकर्स ऑल्सो। बैंकर्स को इसलिए बुलाते हैं, और वहीं के बैंकर्स को, जहां पे प्रोग्राम हो रहा है वहीं आसपास के सारे बैंकर्स को बुलाते हैं कि आप भी आके सेशन लो, इंटरेक्ट करो। लीड बैंक्स भी, और जो आपके वहां पे जो बैंक ब्रांचेस हैं लोकल, उससे ये होता है कि ट्रेनी में और बैंक में थोड़ा इंटरेक्शन होता है, तो उसको फंडिंग की हेल्प होती है। अच्छा, इस तरह के प्रोग्राम्स में जो इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी होती है, जैसे आपने कहा राजकौन है, तो राजकौन को हम लोग जिम्मेदारी देते हैं कि आप इनको लोन फंडिंग में हेल्प करो, और उसके अगेंस्ट हम उनको एक इंसेंटिव भी देते हैं। नंबर ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स फ्लोटेड सपोर्ट, मतलब लिंक्ड विद बैंक्स, तो उनको हम लोग कुछ इंसेंटिव देते हैं। हाँ जी, हाँ जी। मुद्रा में बहुत से कंप्लेंट आ रहे हैं। हाँ। नहीं, इसमें इसमें एक्चुअली सब बैंकों के अपने इंटरनल टारगेट्स हैं। जो बैंक टारगेट कर ले रहे हैं वो फिर नए एप्लीकेंट्स को नहीं वो कर रहे हैं, एंटरटेन कर रहे हैं। ये प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी आ रही है। हम लोग को जहां से भी इस तरह के कंप्लेंट्स आते हैं, मुद्रा में हर बैंक ने अपने नोडल ऑफिसर बनाए हुए हैं। तो हमारे पास जब भी इस तरह की कोई कंप्लेंट आती है तो हम उनको रिफर करते हैं नोडल ऑफिसर्स को। हम रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं जिसको भी रिग्रेट हुआ है कि आप हमको एक मेल दे दीजिए। वो मेल हम फॉरवर्ड करते हैं नोडल ऑफिसर से, नोडल ऑफिसर ब्रांच को उसकी पूरी इंक्वायरी करवाते हैं कि क्यों मना कर रहा है। आम पब्लिक साइट पे जाए और मुद्रा में जो नोडल ऑफिसर्स हैं उनके कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर पढ़ें, उनको मेल कर दे, उनको फोन कर दे, सिडबी को कर दे, या आपके उसमें नोडल ऑफिसर एलडीएम्स होते हैं हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, लीड डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैनेजर्स, उनको कर दे। उनकी आईडी फोन नंबर साइट पे पड़ा हुआ है। तो जो हमारे पास आते हैं हम भी फॉरवर्ड करते हैं और फॉलो अप भी करते हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि हमने फॉरवर्ड किया हम भूल गए, हम उनसे रिपोर्ट मांगते हैं कि आपने क्यों मना किया। तो इस पे गवर्नमेंट का बहुत ज्यादा जोर है कि मुद्रा को तो करना ही है। अगर जस्टिफाइबल रीजन है तो कोई बात नहीं, कि भाई अगर प्रोमोटर से वो बैंकर के पास कोई रिपोर्ट है कि बैंक प्रोमोटर ठीक नहीं है, कहीं डिफॉल्ट कर रखा है, तब तो कोई बात नहीं। पर अगर वो जेन्युइन है प्रोमोटर, तो कोशिश यही है कि उसको जरूर मिले हेल्प। पर प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टीज तो आती हैं कोई भी योजना जब लॉन्च होती है। नहीं, डायरेक्ट भी ले सकते हैं, डायरेक्ट भी ले सकते हैं। इसमें जो फीडबैक आ रहा है मार्केट से, उसमें यह है कि जो लोग पहले से जिन्होंने बैंकों से लोन ले रखा है और काम कर रहे थे, बैंक को मालूम है कि अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, रिपेमेंट आ रहा है, तो उनको तुरंत में भी दे सकते हैं। पर जो एकदम नया नया एंटरप्रेन्योर आ रहा है उसको कोशिश करी जाती है कि छोटे से बड़े बनो। एकदम बड़े बनोगे तो थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा आती है। उसके बाद इश्यूज ये होते हैं, जैसे आप कल को बैंक को जाओ कि भाई हमें ये होटल सेटअप करना है, बैंक सबसे पहले तो आपके बारे में पता करेगा कि आपका क्या रिकॉर्ड है। आजकल हर चीज ऑनलाइन है। अगर आप अपना नाम गूगल पे डालिएगा या सिविल पे डालिएगा तो आपने कितने लोन लिए हैं और क्या पेमेंट रिकॉर्ड है वो सब आ जाता है। तो आजकल सबके लिए सुझाव यही है कि डिफॉल्ट ना करे बैंक को, भले ही क्रेडिट कार्ड हो, डेबिट कार्ड हो, कभी भी कोई डिफॉल्ट ना करे, क्योंकि वो रिकॉर्ड हो जा रहा है। हाँ जी। नहीं, तो आपको अगर फ्लोटिंग रेट पे दिया है और आपको कैसे पता चल रहा है कि रेट कम हुआ है? नहीं 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 नहीं, एकदम नहीं। आपको बेसिकली अगर ऐसी जानकारी है तो आप आरबीआई मैनेजमेंट को लिख सकते हो, आप आरबीआई को लिख सकते हो। आरबीआई में पूरा एक डिपार्टमेंट है जो इस तरह की कंप्लेंट्स को कैटर करता है। सारा आजकल तो ऑनलाइन सब है। आरबीआई कॉन्टैक्ट अस में जाइए, वहां पे 3-4 मेल आईडीज होंगी, उसमें लिखिए, क्योंकि आजकल तो बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट सिस्टम्स हो गए हैं। आप आपके पास आरटीआई है, आप बैंक से आरटीआई में मांगिए। हम लोग के पास भी बहुत से आते हैं, कहीं गलती होती है तो हम लोग भी ठीक करते हैं, पर आपको आपकी अवेयरनेस और जागरूकता ही इस समय सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है। पर गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से हर तरह की सुविधा दी गई है, मतलब कस्टमर तो सबसे ऊपर है। पर अगर आपको ऐसा लग रहा है तो वो आप आरटीआई से मांग सकते हो। आईडीबीआई तो गवर्नमेंट ओन्ड बैंक है। और आरबीआई में मैं आरबीआई की मीटिंग्स भी अटेंड करता हूँ, उसमें इस तरह के जब इश्यूज उठते हैं तो आरबीआई ऑफिसर्स बोलते हैं कि आप हमें इंसिडेंट दीजिए, मतलब ऐसे गोलमोल बात मत करिए कि ऐसा हो रहा है, आप इंसिडेंट दो, तो वो पूरा इंक्वायरी करके आपको जवाब देंगे। नहीं नहीं नहीं, आप आरबीआई पूरा एक डिपार्टमेंट है इसके लिए। वो इंस्टेंसेस मांगते हैं कि आप बताओ कि कहाँ गलती हो रही है, और वो फिर कंसर्न बैंक से एक्सप्लेनेशन मांगेंगे, उसका जवाब आपको देंगे प्रॉपर। हाँ जी।
आपने कहा कि फॉरेन एजेंसी से हम borrow करते हैं सिटी,
जी जी।
तो मैं नो कि कौन कौन से फॉरेन
हाँ जी, एक है जाइका है, जापान इंटरनेशनल कोलैबोरेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ऐसे ऐसे करके है। एक है केएफडब्ल्यू जर्मनी है, और एक है, एक आईफैड रोम है, इंटरनेशनल फंड फॉर सम डेवलपमेंट करके है, रोम का है, इनसे लेते हैं।
I was working with TFC, Tourism Finance Corporation, वो स्पेशली टूरिज्म प्रोजेक्ट्स को कैटर करती है।
जी जी
तो
जी।
उन्हें मेन तो जो प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी वो फंडिंग की आ रही थी, एंड एट दैट टाइम मिस्टर राजेश राजकुमार शर्मा वाज देयर, चीफ जनरल मैनेजर। तो उनको मेनली यही प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी, फंडिंग भाई हम कर नहीं पाते, रीजन भी आरबीआई से लेना होता है पैसा, और उसके बाद कुछ एड ऑन करके आगे टैक्स सर्विस कैटर करना पड़ता है। तो मुझे लगा ये पॉइंट पता होना चाहिए कि
अच्छा,
कौन कौन सी
नहीं नहीं, ये बताया मैंने, एक जाइका करके है, केएफडब्ल्यू है, आईफैड रोम है, वर्ल्ड बैंक भी आजकल काफी पैसा दे रहा है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट हम लोग को आरबीआई भी देता है, जैसे मैंने बताया ना स्माइल स्कीम, उसमें आरबीआई ने 10,000 करोड़ दिया। गवर्नमेंट का एमएसएमई पे बहुत ज्यादा फोकस है इस समय, और वो आपको उसका सिग्निफिकेंस दिखाया मैंने कि आपका इंडस्ट्रियल आउटपुट 45% है, एक्सपोर्ट 40% है, एमएसएमई का योगदान, फोकस बहुत ज्यादा है। सिडको, सिडको का फुल फॉर्म बताइए। हाँ जी, सिडको बेसिकली प्रमोशनल रोल है, प्रमोशनल है, फंडिंग नहीं है, फाइनेंसिंग नहीं है। हमारा सिडबी इज बेसिकली फॉर रीफाइनेंसिंग, फाइनेंसिंग एंड प्रमोशन एंड डेवलपमेंट, क्रेडिट प्लस अप्रोच है हमारा काम। जो है बेसिकली एमएसएमई को क्या कमियां आ रही हैं, क्या दिक्कतें आ रही हैं, उसको कैटर करना है, बेसिकली फॉर प्रमोशन। पर हम लोग फंडिंग भी कर रहे हैं, लोन भी देते हैं, हम फंडिंग भी कर रहे हैं, नॉन फंडिंग सपोर्ट भी है, हर तरह से। उसके अलावा सिडबी जो है एसएफसीज जितने हैं, स्टेट फाइनेंशियल कॉर्पोरेशन, जैसे आपका यूपीएफसी है, और भी हैं, हरियाणा फाइनेंस कॉर्पोरेशन वगैरह है, इनको रिफाइनेंस देता है, इनका रेगुलेटर भी है एज पर एक्ट। तो अब तो एसएफसीज बहुत कम बचे हैं, ऑल ओवर इंडिया 5 एसएफसीज हैं जो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, बाकी तो फंडिंग बंदी है। जैसे केरला वाले बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं, तमिलनाडु बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है, मध्य प्रदेश बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है। अब बाकी जैसे हरियाणा फाइनेंस है या आपका पंजाब फाइनेंस कॉर्पोरेशन है, ये फंडिंग अभी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, क्योंकि पहले रिफाइनेंस सपोर्ट सिडबी देता था, पर वो सिडबी ने कुछ नॉर्म्स बनाए थे कि आप ये नॉर्म्स फॉलो करो, तो वो शायद वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। और रिफाइनेंस जो होता है बेसिकली, हमने रिफाइनेंस दिया तो उनको रिफाइनेंस लौटाना होता है, वो तो एक तरह का लोन है। तो जब वो पैसा वापस नहीं आएगा तो फिर फर्दर फंडिंग कहाँ से होगी। Not exactly, but under credit guarantee scheme, as you saw, there's a relaxation for women entrepreneurs. उसके बाद इंटरेस्ट रेट पर भी कहीं कहीं हम लोग देते हैं बेनिफिट, बट अलग से एकदम स्कीम नहीं है, एकदम मतलब एक इंडिपेंडेंट स्कीम फॉर वुमेन नहीं है। पहले थी गवर्नमेंट की एक महिला उद्यमी एमयूएन करके थी स्कीम, पर अभी वो नहीं है। पर ये जो मैंने आपको स्टैंड अप इंडिया बताया, ये इट हैज फोकस ऑन एससी, एसटी एंड वुमेन, ओनली 3 सेक्टर्स। नहीं, it can be for new entrepreneurs also, पर इसमें सिर्फ 3 सेक्टर्स कवर्ड हैं। इसमें अभी अनाउंसमेंट जब होगा तो हो सकता है कुछ और नई चीजें आएं। हाँ जी सर, मैंने आपको एक साइट बताई है smallv.com, एक बार उसको देखिए। हर प्रोजेक्ट, आप तो एक आइडिया बोल रहे हो, आपको उस पर बहुत सी इनपुट चाहिए, बहुत सी, कितना प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट बनेगा आपको वो थोड़ा पता होना चाहिए कि भाई आप अगर प्रोजेक्ट लगा रहे हो तो ज़मीन कितना चाहिए आपको, प्लांट में कितना खर्चा होगा, जो शेड बनाओगे आप उसमें कितना खर्चा होगा, क्या क्या मशीन लगाओगे, इसमें पूरा एक प्रोजेक्ट बनता है। हर बैंक की अपने एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म्स होते हैं, अभी तो ऑनलाइन भी अवेलेबल हैं, आप उससे निकाल के आप देख भी सकते हैं कि बैंक को क्या चाहिए। उसमें नए को, अगर आप एग्जिस्टिंग हैं तो आपको पिछले 3 साल के पूरे रिकॉर्ड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स चाहिए होंगे, बैलेंस शीट चाहिए होगा, आपका प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस चाहिए होगा। अगर नए हैं तो बात अलग है, तो आपको प्रोजेक्टेड सेल्स दिखाना पड़ेगा, प्रोजेक्शंस दिखाने पड़ेंगे कि पहले साल में मैं कितना बेचूंगा, कितना इनकम होगी, दूसरे साल, अगले 4 से 5 साल का आपको बनाना पड़ेगा। पर ये smallv.com की जो साइट है ये इस मामले में बहुत हेल्पफुल है। और जो मैंने एक क्रेडिट फैसिलिटेशन सेंटर के बारे में आपको बताया, वो भी बहुत, वहाँ नॉलेज पार्टनर्स हैं, रिटायर्ड बैंकर्स हैं जो आपको गाइड कर सकते हैं।
प्रोजेक्टेड सेल्स हमेशा ऑप्टिमिस्टिक फिगर्स होती हैं,
हाँ जी,
तो उसको कैसे सर आप जस्टिफाई करते हैं? मतलब कैसे
नहीं, आप प्रोजेक्टेड सेल्स की फिगर दोगे, हम उसको, हम अपने एंगल से देखेंगे, कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि हमारी आपकी फिगर्स मैच करें।
तो आप तीनों सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस करेंगे?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
तीनों केसेस में
उसका हम लोग क्या करते हैं एज बैंकर्स, बैंक वाले क्या करते हैं, बैंकों के पास जो प्रोजेक्ट आप लेके आओगे उस तरह के कई प्रोजेक्ट ऑलरेडी होते हैं, तो वो उससे निकाल लेते हैं, आपकी जो फिगर्स हैं उससे टैली करते हैं कि भाई आप इतना बोल रहे हो, एक्चुअल में क्या हो रहा है। अब आजकल ऑनलाइन होने की वजह से ये बड़ी सुविधा हो गई। तो जैसे हमारे यहाँ है सिडबी में, प्रोजेक्ट अप्रेजल होता है, वो सब ऑनलाइन है, तो हम सिमिलर प्रोजेक्ट्स निकालते हैं, उसमें सारी फिगर्स एक बार हम लोग देख लेते हैं। आजकल तो मशीनरी सप्लायर्स जो हैं उनका डेटाबेस बनने लग गया है। आप कहोगे कि मैं ये मशीन खरीद रहा हूँ मेसर सो एंड सो से, तो हम उस मेसर सो एंड सो का पूरा हिस्ट्री हमारे पास है। इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि डिफॉल्ट आजकल बड़ा मुश्किल भी है और बहुत खराब भी है, क्योंकि जब हमारे यहाँ कोई भी लोन लेने आता है तो हम उन पूरे एक एक बंदे का, एक एक यूनिट का पूरी हिस्ट्री निकाल लेते हैं, और सब ऑनलाइन। और कोई डाउट आप? चलिए, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू। मेरा टाइम से ही खत्म हो गया।